Welcome to Anime Real Talk, where we share our honest opinions on anime, Japan, news, and much more. It doesn't matter if you're new to anime, if you're a casual or a complete weeb. Join the conversation here. Today, I'm your host Ramin, and I'm joined by.
Taha.
And Russ.
Welcome back, guys, on
Thanks.
this gloomy kind of day today.
Yeah,
How are
gloomy
you
winter
guys
day.
feeling? We've kind of pushed back our recording because today's episode's. I mean, the research or like looking back to a lot of stuff would have taken quite a bit of time, so we decided to push back. How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a big one. Definitely appreciated a little extra time to have a think.
Yeah,
For
for
those
sure.
of you who are probably confused at this point, we're going to be talking about animes of the decade, or our anime of the decade specifically, not necessarily the best thing that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely took some time to prepare, but we're going to be doing 2010 to about 2019
Yeah.
and
Yep.
going through kind of like our animes of the decade, really. And we're going to pick a few, talk about them, and then we'll probably find some trends, some other interesting kind of like topics along the way.
Yeah.
But before we jump into that, how have you
Yeah.
guys been doing?
Yeah, all good, man.
Oh.
I went to Soulbird to eat recently after your recommendation,
yeah.
Tala.
Soul Bird.
It was good for sure. I think the issue is I went to what's that place called? Dieback in Vauxhall with you.
They're back.
Yeah, Dieback. Bro, that place set me up for failure. Like if I had gone to Soulbird and tried it without trying that place, I would have thought it was bomb.
Yeah.
And
Well, I feel like they're two different things because Debak's like a full-on restaurant, whereas Soulbird is like some quick
eats,
kind of
yeah.
street food eats.
The
set up
cauliflower
in, like,
was
a
was
mall.
banging for sure. Like that was like a good little small dish that I recommend someone to try. But the thing was like it was the same kind of chicken, right? It was that kind of crunchy shell. Because I got the chicken platter, and that was too similar, I think, to debak. And that's like what set me up to fail because the debak one is just so good.
Yeah, it's on another level. There's one thing that I wanted to ask Ramen, right?
Yeah.
Have you been watching anything recently?
I started watching this Netflix show called Alice in Wonderland. Borderland, sorry, not
Alice in Wonderland, I was
Jesus.
gonna say,
Oh
bro.
yeah, you
Alice in
mentioned
Wonderland's
something.
great. Don't get me wrong, but there's this like new Japanese TV show called Alice in Borderland that
I haven't
came
heard
out
of it.
a day or two ago, I think, on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I initially thought it was a movie because it was on Coming Too Soon, and I watched the trailer. But then I realized, oh shit, it's actually a series.
Yo, it's
And-
based on a manga.
No,
Oh,
wait,
really?
is it?
Yeah, it's based on a manga apparently.
See, I had no idea. I didn't go into like extensive research on it, but now that you mention it, it's gonna be something that I have to read for sure.
Yeah.
What's the story?
Maybe
What's the
even
plot?
invest in
Yeah.
buying.
What's the plot? What's it about?
So it's about this guy called Arisu, right? So
Okay.
obviously his
Oh,
name
Alice.
is Alice.
Oh,
When you like say it in English, his name is Arisu in Japanese.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like they call him Alice in English, obviously. And his two other friends. So he's like he's a child of his first or second son of this like rich guy and like well-off family, and he's just a full-on like hermit parasite in his house, plays games all the time, doesn't
a
do shit,
neat.
but he's really smart.
Oh, it's typical.
Yeah, typical Japanese kind of thing. And then he has his two friends, one who works, and then another one who's kind of like beats up people, works at a bar. He's kind of like gangster, but not exactly. But he's still pretty a kind-hearted guy. And then they do some crazy stuff in Shibuya, go into a toilet, and they get transported into an isekai.
They all
It's
went
the
to the
sa-
same toilet. Three guys in one
Yeah,
toilet.
so they hid it from the police because they were like standing
okay.
in the middle of Shibuya crossing.
Yeah.
And then they didn't realize that the car started going, so they like caused an accident and ran away from the police.
That was good. That was sounding a bit sus, but then you
Yeah.
said it.
And then like they get transported into an isekai, but it's still Shibuya, but all the people from the world are gone. They're in like a game world of Shibuya. It's kind of like Gantz actually.
Yo, yeah, I was
It
gonna
has-
say,
it
like
has
looking
a
at
feel
panels,
of Gantz.
it looks
Yeah.
Really
similar.
has the feel of Gantz. And like when I start, because I haven't personally watched Gantz, but I've watched trailers for the live action
Yeah.
and
Oh,
the
there's a
anime
live
movies
action?
as well. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
there
a live
is.
action.
Yeah,
for
I
it.
Oh,
think
damn,
so.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, I watched a trailer for that as well. So like when I started watching, I was like, oh shit, this is like this reminds me of Gantz, and actually it's still pretty good. Like it's a really good isekai like storyline. I've only watched the first episode last night, so still a lot to look forward to. I
Yeah.
think there's 12 episodes right now, but I recently saw there's quite a few articles on it, like whether you should watch it or skip it. But I don't want to read those articles. I just want to make up my mind
Yeah.
for myself. Watch the thing fully. And so far, it's pretty interesting for me.
Yeah, it looks cool, man. I looked at panels of the manga and the live action. They both look pretty sick. I'm definitely gonna have to check it out, especially if it's got Gantz vibes because I loved Gantz so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Yeah. And there was something else I wanted to ask Ramen as well, right?
Yeah.
Would you be up for a super temp position at Lawson?
What's Lawson?
Lawson's one of the convenience stores
It's
in
like
Japan.
7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Oh,
What is a
okay,
super
okay.
temp?
So
What is
basically,
that?
they're apparently letting anybody work any shifts like suddenly at the store. Okay. So obviously Lawson is like a convenience store. It always has these kind of like new ideas. And they've also been doing a lot of like self-serve tills, and then like also some stuff which is not so good, like chocolate potato burgers, right? But what they've done recently is, in order to fill shifts,
Yeah.
stores are now posting listings for like shifts online up to 3 hours before the shift actually starts, and it lets anyone apply, and you can work the temporary slots. And I saw a picture, and it was basically like a girl in like a maid outfit, like a
Huh.
cosplay outfit with
Yeah.
like heels and everything, and she was like in Lawson like putting out stock. And it was like, oh yeah, I had some downtime at the cosplay convention, so I picked up a shift. So I'm not sure if that's actually like real,
Yeah.
but that's the kind of like target kind of audience that they're trying to go
That's
for.
so funny, yo.
Yeah, so just basically just get in at any time, up to 3 hours before, sign up, get paid. So yeah,
Get that
would you,
bread.
would
Why
you
don't
do
they
it?
have that here, man? I would be doing that all the time. Every time I get free time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's super
Jump in
useful.
on a shift, man. Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything
And
here is
there's
about
like
like
a varied amount of like opinions going on. So some people are saying actually it's going to be pretty hard because every single store is operated differently. So even
Yeah.
if you have experience in one store, you might not know the products or the customers that come to the other store, right? So it might just result
right.
in like the regular
Chaos.
person who works there always just teaching newbies.
Well, yeah, because
Like,
I was gonna say
less
like
productivity.
you definitely have to learn the right way to. I mean, it's not like putting stuff on a shelf is the most difficult job in the world, but still, like you have to know what goes where and
There's the back and forth.
Yeah, back
Because
and forth.
I know about the putting, because I used to work in Pret, so we'd have the shelf life. You'd have to put like the oldest things at the front,
Yeah.
and the ones that last longer, you have to push it to the back. So every time they made new sandwiches, we'd like push the ones from the back forward and then fill the new ones at the back.
Yeah.
You were never allowed to put the new stuff at the front.
That makes me
Yeah.
happy because I always took the sandwiches from the back because I thought
Exactly.
that's what you guys did.
I always take shit from the back. I never
Yeah.
take anything from the front, even in Tesco's, bro. Like, I know that the water or like the Coke, they're gonna be
Yeah.
the same date, right?
Yeah.
But I always take it from the back.
Still
'cause I'm
take it
like,
from the back, yeah.
Imagine how many people have touched the ones at the front.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like, you know,
And
just
I think
handled it.
overall it's a good thing that this
Yeah.
kind of stuff's happening in Japan. Like it's going to give a peace of mind to like regular employees there. Like they don't need to force themselves to come in
Yeah.
because their shifts can be covered. But yeah, it's interesting to see how like society's developed, and it's like 2020 now. There's like random kind of shifts that people can take
They
up, and in
need that
Japan there's
here.
apparently robots that are gonna start staffing
Ooh.
convenience
Yeah, I mean that
stores.
makes sense because they have like that. They have a bunch
that.
of robotic stuff that they're trialing, don't they? They have the robot hotel that's like completely robots, and you can get like a velociraptor to be your butler.
Yeah, it just looks crazy.
Sick.
Yeah, it's still definitely going to take some time, but like I can see that coming soon for them because you know they have like the aging population. What surprised me was the amount of like immigrants that they have working in Kambinis.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that
I think we
shocked me,
talked about
dude.
this before, right?
Yeah, but like the amount of Indian dons working in the convenience stores was mind-boggling for me, and they only speak Japanese and Hindi or Urdu or whatever
Yeah.
their native like regional language is. That
That
they
all
just speak Japanese
7-Elevens?
and that. I couldn't believe
That
it.
in all of this, like, because there's this like running stereotype joke that like Indians work in
7-Elevens,
7-Elevens,
yeah. And I mean, they work in
so
them in Japan like a lot.
I wouldn't be surprised, if I saw an Indian in a Japanese 7-Eleven, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's pretty normal. I haven't seen one in a Korean 7-Eleven, which is like, all
It'll probably
right,
be
cool.
coming soon, don't worry.
But yeah, it's like
In the next decade.
Well, I spoke to one. I
Exactly.
spoke to one guy about it, and he basically said like he wanted to move to Japan, so he just
Yeah.
this guy specifically spoke English, and he was like, yeah, I
Ooh.
wanted to move to Japan, so I learned Japanese, and they need more people here, and it's quite easy. I think it was easier for him to get the visa because he had family that were born in Japan or something like that, because they had moved to
Damn.
Japan ages ago.
Yeah.
So he like got in, and then he was like, I get to live here, but I have to work in like these types
Oh.
of jobs because a lot of the Japanese people are like they want to be salarymen. So
Yeah.
he was like happy to take on that work because he wanted to live in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
Ju-
interesting
just
stuff.
Yeah, just on that point quickly, right? I did read a news article around how basically they're getting a lot of foreign workers
Yeah.
to come into these convenience stores, but also because of the aging population, right? There's less people to
Yeah.
actually work, and there's less marriages that's happening in Japan,
Oh,
right?
interesting.
And what some of the local government authorities in Japan have started doing, right, is they've introduced this AI to tell people who'd be a good spouse for them.
No way.
Yeah. Like it's like a dating site, but an
Yeah.
AI kind of automatically matches people and
Damn.
says maybe you should get married.
No,
Maybe.
yeah. Japan and Korea are ticking time bombs at the moment. Like at the rate that their population, they're going to be 0 Koreans and 0 Japanese left.
Oh,
by
I heard about that.
a couple
Yeah,
100 years or something like that.
yeah,
Well,
In,
thank
like,
you guys for
Japan.
tuning
They're all gonna
into
be
Anime
gone.
Real Talk, the socioeconomic
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, no, I mean he mentioned that, so like I was like, oh yeah, I watched a video on YouTube on it about the Korean population and the Japanese population,
Yeah.
how they're like just
Yeah.
going to.
Well, that's like super in the
extinct,
future.
it's
How about
crazy.
we transition into this or the previous decade that just ended?
Oh, actually,
Plus
one
10
thing
years.
right before we go on, there was
Yeah.
one thing I just remembered I saw today. I was on Instagram in bed before I got up, and an ad
The
came
usual.
up for me, and it was fucking weird.
Flashlight.
No, okay, shut the fuck up.
What have you been
you-
talking
you
about in
dirty-
your sleep that your
you
phone
dirty
wants
pig.
to give you that?
Basically, it came up for a movie. I think the movie is called Songbird. That's like what I got. It's
Songbird.
called like it said hashtag Songbird movie, so I'm pretty sure the movie's called Songbird. But basically, the premise of the
Songbird.
story is it's COVID-23, and it says 4 years of lockdown, the world has changed, so have we. Welcome to the
What
new
the fuck?
pandemic thriller Songbird. And in the trailer, it's like people in the full, the yellow suits with like gas
Oh, I've
masks and
seen
shit. Bro,
this.
I just saw this. I was like, this is the point we're at now. Like
I've seen that
this
trailer.
is what we got to. We're just like
It's like
fuck it,
post-apocalyptic
COVID-23. We're
films.
gonna make it.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a movie. We're gonna turn the pandemic into a movie. Let's do it. I was like, no one's
They
gonna
just
watch
made
this
it-
shit. Like no one wants
Yeah,
to
No,
relive
man.
you
what
can't
we
even
just
watch it in the
lived.
cinemas.
Yeah.
But,
like,
like-
why would you want to watch? I'm definitely not gonna watch it. I saw the trailer and I was like, they're just trying to make like this romance thriller out of COVID.
Yeah.
Like, do you know
It
how many
feels
people
like a
have
quick buck.
suffered from this shit and you're trying to make a joke out of
Bro,
it?
we just lived
Like,
through it for a year. I don't
come
want to
on,
watch it for
man.
2 hours on the TV.
The fuck are they thinking? Songbird as
Yeah.
well. It's like,
Total
oh
waste
yeah,
of
Oh
this
yeah,
is-
I don't know why it was called Songbird. There was
love
literally nothing in the
story.
trailer that related to birds or
It's-
songs or
it's-
anything.
it's
I had
this-
no clue. What?
It's this dumb love story thing. Like these two
It's a
people,
metaphor,
they love
guys.
each other. They're talking to each other on the phone every day, and then her mum catches COVID and whatnot, and he can't see her. and
Yo,
he's gonna
COVID
break
could
the
catch these
rules.
hands though.
So shit. Story so shit.
Yeah.
Like fuck off, man. We don't want any more COVID related shit. Just get rid of that stuff. Like maybe in 10 years you can make a movie about it, like Contagion or some shit like that, but not now. It's
Yeah.
too early, man.
Yeah.
So let's throw it back 10 years. Go
Yeah.
back to
Yeah.
the
Throw it back
2010s,
10
Let's
years.
throw
the
it
good
back.
old days.
Yeah, throw it back 10 years. And I guess we'll start, this is animes of the decade. So we're going to go through each year and try to find some kind of like common theme and common animes. So we'll
Yeah.
start with 2010. So yeah, who wants to go first?
I
You
think,
go
yeah,
first,
you're
Tyler.
itching to go. I can see.
Okay, so
Just
So-
want to fucking slather your opinion all over us and then shove us in the oven and bake us for 2
Yeah.
hours.
oh, sounds yummy. Anyway,
Yo.
for 2010, right? So from what I remember in 2010, I was in secondary school, very much on gaming. I was kind of like already into anime and stuff, right? But I think I was primarily watching a lot of big three anime
Yeah.
and like the old school shonen kind of anime, right? I started like going to some more comic cons during this time. So then my anime kind of like
Yes.
genres and categories started expanding like more than
Yeah.
ever. And I think my anime of that decade, I know there was quite a lot. There was like Bakuman, Angel Beats, but for me, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this one, but the anime for that year that which I really really liked was Durara.
Yeah, I heard of Durara.
Yeah, have you
Yeah,
heard of it?
Oh.
I called it Durarara. Is there like four
Yeah, I thought it
Ras?
had like 3 Ras.
Durarara,
Or
is
4
it
Ras.
Durarara?
I
Durarara.
thought it had like 3
Yeah,
Ras, right?
Durarara,
Yeah,
and then double
Durarara.
exclamation mark. That was it.
Durarara.
Yeah,
Yeah, Durarara. Yeah. But yeah, it was just
watched it.
like such a unique kind of anime because like every episode is
Yeah.
episodic and something
Yeah.
like mystical sci-fi is happening, and then you get like a woman on a bike which has like doesn't have a head. And
Yeah,
she's,
yeah,
like,
that was it.
roaming
The headless
around.
biker.
Yeah, and it was just like so crazy. And then you'd also get like scenes of like actual in Japan, in Shibuya, in Akihabara, like all these different places, and following like literally people who were still in secondary school, and that was me at the same time. So I was like, damn, this is like a whole different world going on around there.
Relatable.
And for me, it was just like the easiest anime to watch for that year. It was very
Yeah.
chill, laid back. There was like an overall plot that it hung every single episode together.
Yeah.
And then when it came together, I think it paid off really well.
Yeah, fair play.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you guys?
I liked Durarara, but it definitely was not my favorite. So for me, the one I chose from 2010, I told you guys before, but you guys have probably never heard of this anime. Probably most people watching haven't heard of it.
Okay.
It's called,
That's nice.
I don't know what the full Japanese name's pretty long and a mouthful, but in English it's just called Rainbow. And I only knew it as Rainbow. If you want me to butcher the Japanese name, I will.
Yeah, dude.
It's Rainbow Nisha Rokubu no Shichijinin.
Okay, yeah,
that's a-
I haven't
that
watched
is a
that.
mouthful.
Yeah. So or Shichinin. That's it. But yeah, basically the story is about these inmates, and they go to a special reform school, quote unquote, which is just a young person prison.
Like prison school?
Yeah.
It's like prison school, but prison school obviously came after this, but this one isn't like funny. It's not that funny, and it's not ecchi like ichi at all. It's definitely like really fucking sad. And basically there's like they kind of have like a big brother in the prison, so the guy becomes their Aniki, and they all call him Aniki. And he's like
Basically
he's a former boxer.
Gang bro.
And his name is Rokuruta or Rockrota. And I thought that was a sick name at the time. I'd never heard of that, but the whole anime, I just kept thinking like that's a fucking sick name. And then basically there's a prison guard that absolutely hates him, and he makes all of their lives hell, and he tries to turn all of them against
Aniki.
the boxer,
shit.
Aniki. So they all like, it's like a story basically about like friendship, brotherhood,
Okay.
being in the prison. Like they have a doctor in the prison who's like a pervert or like a pedo. So that's like another underlying
Oh, okay.
yeah, bro, it's really sad. It's a really sad anime, like really
Shit.
sad. It's not like
And you're watching this when you're like, what, 15?
13 or something. No, 14. But
Hormones
yeah, it was
raging.
it's like really sad, but at the same time it's like you see the strength they get as like a group of friends, and it's like kind of heartwarming at the same time as it's really sad. And for me it was such a complex story, and something that I've seen replayed so many times in future animes, that like that was definitely the first choice for me from that year.
Yeah. Fair enough. Like,
Nice.
would you say you can watch it again? Like, would you recommend
Yeah, I
it
would
now?
watch it again. I think me and my brother actually rewatched it like a few years ago. Like we rewatched it again in like 2016 or 2017. Because it was just
I will watch
it's like again just so interesting. It's like an interesting story.
I will watch it. I will
Yeah.
give it a watch.
Yeah.
Put that on my list.
I think it's interesting because like a lot of these anime from the like old school 2010, 2011 decades, I feel
Yeah.
like if I watch some of them now, potentially they might not have the right replayability.
No, man. All the old
But
stuff. I mean, you guys know me. I always tell you, I'm always watching shit from the 90s. So, like, to me, that doesn't even
Yeah,
matter.
man.
Because
Yeah.
you get the vibe of the time. That's what comes
Yep.
yeah,
through.
I think like the vibe is good, but sometimes the pacing could be off. Like potentially, like once we go through this, I might highlight some more. But for 2010, how about you, Ramen? Do you have any?
Yeah, I think a lot of people who have watched anime in that year or around that time or have been watching will probably know this anime. And obviously, if you don't, then I'll tell you the name. It's High School of the Dead.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
one
That was,
anime that
that
stuck
was,
with
that was
me
a
that
good
year
one.
for sure, man. I was a high
Damn.
school student. It was zombies. Like I'm thinking, yo, this happens in my high school. I'm gonna be killing all the motherfucking zombies. It was just like so sick. Because how old was I?
Probably like
15?
15 or some shit.
Yeah,
No, I think
around 15,
13,
14,
wasn't
15.
Yeah.
Shit, how old am I now? I'm 24. So 10 years ago, I was 14. Yeah, 14.
Bro,
14.
it's a masterpiece, to be honest. But you guys need to read the manga. Before Ramen talks about the story, like, the anime does not do it justice. It got
Yeah, no,
cancelled.
it
Go
doesn't.
read the fucking manga.
The
Anyway,
manga
continue.
is so good.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, it's just a story about this zombie outbreak in Japan and these high school kids who, you know, they experience it firsthand and they try to escape from their high school, go to the house of this like really prestige family who are like a military household and they've got a fort and shit. Obviously, it ends in a cliffhanger, which kind
Yeah.
of sucks. You never find out what happens afterwards. There was so much potential for
Yeah.
it to have another second season, but I guess they just never went into it.
I
There
feel
was
like that gave
on
it
OVA.
God status, right? Like, to
Oh,
leave it
for
on the
sure.
cliffhanger. That's what made it such a well-known name.
But
Exactly.
in the manga, does it end?
No,
properly?
the manga continues. The manga. That's why I said
Yeah,
read the
yeah.
manga.
Yeah, no, is
Yeah,
it still
the manga
continuing or
continues.
has it finished?
Oh yeah, no, it's finished. It's not like continuing for. It's not like One Piece, bro.
Yeah, it continues. It just like it's already done, but it continues.
Yeah.
Beyond that,
Unlike the anime.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so there is an end to it in the manga, but that's what I guess that's what gives the anime, as Ross said, God status. Like it's so
Yeah.
good. A lot of people were like, "Yo, why wasn't it finished?" And even I was looking forward to it, and to the point where I was just looking forward to the OVA to come out,
Yeah.
like just to see.
Okay.
The OVA was just like some fun stuff, but
To be
yeah, the
honest,
story is pretty good. Yeah,
It should be on everyone's top 3 at least, just from the boob physics in that anime.
it's so sick.
I think Tyler, you mentioned this probably in a previous episode, but the
Yeah.
sniper scene between the boobs
Yeah.
is just like
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's a mad
They
one.
defy gravity, you know.
Bro,
They
it
have-
didn't
they
even
have a
like.
mind.
I was just watching it. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like,
How
what?
does that even
Who,
work?
It's
who
in the
decided
trailer
to
as well.
animate this?
Yeah, it's in the trailer, so they want people to know, you know, this is what the anime is about. But yeah, so for 2010, we have High School of the Dead, Rainbow,
Yeah.
and Durara.
I
Yeah.
think the runner-up
Yeah, yeah.
for all of us is probably Angel Beats.
I didn't watch it. I heard good things about it,
Oh
but I
man,
never
very
got to watch
good,
it.
very good. I recommend that. Like, that needs to be slapped up on the top of your list somewhere. I think that's a
Is
good
it on
one.
Netflix?
Yeah.
It's
And,
on Netflix, right? Yeah, yeah. Because I've seen it so much, and I've like got it on my list. It's just there
Yeah.
on the anime list
Yeah.
on Netflix.
It's a good one.
So if we go into 2011, I think in 2011 I watched like definitely more anime compared to 2010.
I think more came out in 2011, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
and more really solid good ones, right?
yeah.
I didn't watch that many in 2011.
Yeah. So
2011? No.
If you don't have
I-
3 letters as your number one choice, don't talk to me.
So what did you say?
HXH. If that's not your number one
Oh.
choice, like, delete yourself
Well,
from
see,
this.
I wouldn't. See, the thing is, I didn't count that as a 2011 anime for me
What'd you count it as?
because it's an older anime. I watched the old
Yeah,
one.
Oh, yeah, also,
you watched,
HXH
So I
is
never,
Hunter
I
x
never
Hunter.
counted.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hunter x Hunter. I never counted as a 2011 anime because it's just a remake. It's just
debatable.
an updated version
debatable.
of it.
Because
It's slightly different from the old one.
Because
I
the
get
old
it,
one,
but
the old one doesn't have the newest arc, and like the story is different.
see, the only thing is the newest arc doesn't start in the first season. That's the only thing.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're
I'm
saying.
technically not in this decade of anime. Like, I'm not counting any seasons. first season only.
Yeah,
There's no
okay.
second
Oh yeah,
seasons.
I think that's
like
fair.
I'm not debating anything about like, because otherwise I could talk about Attack on Titan
Yeah, for like 4 years in
from
it.
when it started.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So or
Yeah.
Kimetsu no Yaiba as well. So like that kind of stuff. So I had a feeling you guys were probably gonna mention the 2011 Hunter x Hunter.
But
So
to be
I
honest,
deliberately
right?
didn't put it.
Like I think 2011 was a bit of a hard one because even though Hunter x Hunter came out, there was also
Yeah.
like some really good ones like
There were some
Steins Gate.
strong
There were
ones.
some really good
Steins
solid
Gate,
ones as well.
Hana
There
Hana.
was Mirai
Hana Hana's
Nikki
good.
as well.
Yeah,
Mirai
Mirai
Nikki,
Nikki
My
is a
Future
fucking
Diary. That was
baller one, yeah.
amazing, right? And there was a few random ones as well, like Beelzebub. Do you remember that? That was like a
Yeah, bro,
comedy.
Beelzebub.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
The manga's
Yeah.
really good. I recommend
Yeah.
the manga.
And then
as well.
I remember watching some like crazy zombie harem one, like Korewa Zombie Deska. And it was literally the main guy was a zombie and it's a fucking harem with real girls. It was just
Bruh.
crazy. But like I think my pick for that year, obviously
Hmm.
Hunter x Hunter was good, but Steins Gate, I think
Oh,
even though I didn't watch Steins Gate in 2011, I watched it like a couple of years later. I feel like that anime for people who kind of watched it at the time was probably amazing, right?
Yeah.
It takes a bit of time to get into, but the way the twists, the turns, the overall story, animation at the time was great as well. I'd probably give Steins Gate that for 2011. That's probably my pick, and the runner-up is Mirai Nikki.
The only thing about Steins Gate, like it's definitely a masterpiece, but for most people our age, I feel like if they actually watched it in 2011, they wouldn't have understood what the fuck was going
Yeah.
on. Like
Exactly, yeah.
I started watching it when it came out because people were going crazy about it. And I did not I couldn't watch more than like 2 episodes. Like I
Yep.
didn't
So
understand what
weird.
the fuck was going on. And I had to wait until I was like, I think I watched it last year or the year before. I had to wait until I was like in my 20s to fully understand like how amazing it was, because before I just didn't get it. And everything just went over my head when I was like 15. Like I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
I don't understand what's going on.
I think I watched it like 2017, 2018.
Yeah, because like
then it made
you have to
sense.
watch it when you're older, because you're not gonna. I don't think you can fully appreciate it when you're younger. And I mean, there's a reason it has a god status. Again, like this is definitely a god tier. Everyone mentions it. It's always on lists. You know what I mean? Like everyone's always
yeah.
saying, "Go watch that."
Yeah. So so apart from Steins Gate, Hunter x Hunter, Ramen, you got any more?
For me, I was kind of torn between Anohana and Blue Exorcist.
Yeah,
One's
I know that was a
comedy
tough choice.
shonen, and like Blue Exorcist's really good. I think it was a really good storyline, and there was a lot of like emotional moments in the
Rin
in the story
Okamura.
as well. But Anohana was also just so good.
Yeah,
Like,
masterpiece.
it's nothing.
Honestly,
It's not. It's none of that shonen stuff. It's very, very like heartwarming and heart wrenching. It's so good. It's
bro, I
you
cried.
have to watch it. It's so.
I'm not even
so
gonna lie.
good.
Like it's one of the only
Yeah.
anime that ever made me cry. Like
Yep.
it's genuinely amazing.
Yeah,
It's
and
one
as
of
you
the
can
animes
guess,
that
I probably
definitely
haven't
made me
watched
cry.
it. I haven't watched it.
It's gonna be too slow for you.
So
You're not gonna like
yeah.
it. I
No,
think
I
we said
haven't
this
watched it.
before. We talked about it before, and I swear we
Yeah,
said the
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that was
it
Violet
wouldn't be
Evergarden.
one that I would recommend to Tyler again, just like the other one.
But to be honest, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm more mature now, so potentially.
Yeah, you could give it a try. You could give it a try for sure.
Yeah.
Like I would definitely recommend Anohana as something.
I think
to
it's
watch.
pretty cool because like you have more about Anohana, Blue Exorcist, whereas mine was more Mirai Nikki, Steins Gate, and then Russell's
Yeah.
was like 100%.
Bro, it's
Hunter
100%
x Hunter.
Hunter x Hunter. And like honestly, I liked
Yeah.
the original. I watched the original with my bro. Like we fully appreciated it. Loved the OG graphics, but the way that the 2011 one went and the way the story like gripped me, and I was so in love with all the characters. I could not have it as my top. Like
Yeah, fair enough.
regardless of whenever the other seasons came out, just from how invested I got in the story, and like I have so much Hunter x Hunter
Yeah.
merch. To be honest, like I buy any T-shirt that comes out with Kurapika on it. Like I'm gonna buy it. Kurapika's a fucking don. Such a sick
Yeah.
character. Killua is such a sick character.
Yeah.
Such a good
I
story.
remember with Mirai Nikki, that was probably the first anime which had
Miraniki's incredible, man.
which had like a female actress who was like tsundere, like crazy.
Yeah. That's the
Crazy,
first one
but
I
she
can
loves
think
you.
of. Yeah.
That kind of type, and that was like my first anime watching, where that main love interest was like that.
I
And I
always
was
tell
like,
people to watch it.
shit, this is
I
like a whole
always
new
tell
realm.
people.
Okay, yeah, I think we got some decent picks for 2011.
Yeah.
2012. Okay, so 2012 was kind of a big year for me. I watched a lot of anime in 2012. Okay, so I won't say my top one right
I want
now.
Ramen to go first. Ramen,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
go
Ramen,
first
you
for
go
this one.
first.
I'm interested to hear what you picked.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. For me, it's easy. Like,
I think I know this.
I love Kuroko no Basket that it came out the
Yeah.
same year, but Sword Art Online,
Oh,
first
yeah.
season
I knew
comes
it.
out.
I knew it.
Easy
Yeah.
pick. Easy clap.
Yeah.
There's
Same
no debate.
for me.
There's
Yeah.
no debating
Was it the
that.
first one that really kickstarted the? It was, wasn't it? That really
Izakaya, yeah.
kickstarted that genre, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good, man.
Yeah. Honestly,
It's
that
just,
first season was the best.
I've
Yeah.
rewatched the first season like 5 times.
It
Ooh,
slapped,
okay.
to be honest. Like
It's
at the
so
time,
good.
it was wild. It was a
Okay,
wild
it was
journey.
just like an introduction of a whole new genre. Like we could never have
such a
imagined
unique
going
idea.
into a new world, especially like a gaming world. And then you had
Yep.
like a good character like Kirito, and then obviously
You
his love interest and like the party aspect of things, and going into
Yeah.
like it felt like a like an MMO like adventure in
Yeah.
a game world. So I
Bro,
think
don't diss Asuna like that. Don't just call her the love interest. Fuck you.
Yo.
all right.
Yo,
Well, why feel that
on
for Russell?
Asuna though, they're gonna release a movie with her perspective.
Oh,
To be
really?
honest,
The
after
the new
season one,
movie
I don't give a
that's
shit because the rest of
the
it
new
is
movie
trash.
that's coming out is gonna be the whole of the first arc, but from her
Yo, that's
perspective.
sick.
Which I'm actually looking forward to because the whole of first season was Kirito's perspective,
Yeah.
right? But we get it from Asuna's
But she was
perspective.
already powerful, right? Like I can't really remember it, but I remember that he was like kind of weak at the beginning, and then she was pretty
So
strong, right?
like we don't get to see how she became
Super strong. Yeah.
super strong because there was that time skip, right?
Yeah.
Where she was like the leader of one of the guilds.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
like the second in command. So like I think the movie's gonna show of how she got there
Yeah.
because they split off after the very first episode, first like boss fight.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the movie's gonna be about her showing her after she splits off with Kirito.
Yeah.
And then her on her way
Yeah.
to becoming like from the blood oath, like joining the blood
Yeah.
oath guild
So
and stuff like that.
so for me, right, I think 2012 kind of made me like reinvest my time into anime. Like it kind of made me double down. I was already liking anime, but apart from Sword Art Online, a few other key ones that year that I was watching, right, was Batum, right, which is kind of it's a very interesting one. I'm not really going to go into too much detail in these, but there was also another,
It's
which
funny
is like a
because
horror one.
Batum splits people. Like people
Yeah.
either love it or hate it.
Well, I
What
think
is
it
it
was
called?
more of like an adult kind of get trapped in a different location, have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
But like for me, it was interesting at the time because I hadn't really watched any other concepts related
Yeah.
to that. And then there was another, which was like a horror anime,
Oh.
Daily Lives of High School Boys comedy. Obviously, Kuroko no Basket, like you mentioned. There was a few other key ones as well, like Zatsuno no Tempest, which was pretty cool. Sankira, a zombie one. Aquarion, Evil. Even though JoJo came out as well in 2012, I didn't watch it in 2012. I only started
Yeah, I
watching
feel like
it
we
in
can't even count
2017.
that.
Yeah, otherwise JoJo would have kind of like taken it for me. But the
Yeah.
one that took it, which is second place for me, apart from Sword Art Online, well, it's kind of competing very, very high, right? It's Psychopaths.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's my number one pick from that year.
Yeah.
No question. Story is fucking sick. I mean, I think I've talked about it on like multiple episodes, but just the story is so sick, and the way that it's played out to have like the China online ranking system, that's so reminiscent of the ranking system in that anime.
Yeah.
Of the way
it's
they
kind of like
rank, like, your
Cyberpunk
hue.
2077. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, is it for real? Like I think it was an anime that was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
For sure. Like so many things have come out since then that have such a similar story or have ideas that were mentioned in that anime. For me, it just had to be a top pick. But one that you guys didn't mention that was my runner-up was Magi. Did you guys
No,
not watch that?
I watched it, but I didn't really like it too much. It was
Oh,
a
okay.
bit too like childish for me. In a way.
Okay, but I was like a couple years younger than you guys back then, so I can get why I enjoyed it,
Yeah.
and also like I watched it with a bunch of friends, so we were all super into it. So that's probably what helped me get into it. But that was probably my second
Because if
pick.
you think about it, there was like a lot of dark shit happening in Psychopaths and Sword Art Online and another.
Yeah.
Then you get Magi.
Magi was nice though, and also I think as well it's like nice for me because it's set in the Middle East, right? So like for me that
That
was
was a
kind
good
of cool,
change.
and like yeah, the characters were interesting. Like
I
when
just
I was a
remembered.
kid, yeah, what?
Yeah, go ahead
I
first.
was gonna say like when I was really young, I remember listening to the story of Sinbad, and that was like my bedtime story. If my dad was telling me one when I was like hella young, you know what I mean? So the characters just were very reminiscent of part of my childhood. Obviously, I had like all the Western stuff from my mum, but I just remember like that was one thing that my dad would always talk to me about.
Yeah,
So that was
that's
a
cute.
nice throwback. Yeah, cute throwback.
Yeah. Yeah, what I was gonna say, right? I remember this anime that I watched in 2012, right? It was called Sakura So no Pet na Konojo. It's fucking weird, dude. It was basically like a school, or not a school, like a house of artists. And one of the artists was a girl called like Sakura something, okay? And she was literally like, her whole personality was like a cat.
Oh, really?
And she,
But that's like such a common thing now. Is that like the first time it started, or is that just
yeah,
the
but
first time you
it
saw
was
it?
like to the point where for me it was cringe. But people were like, "Oh my god, it's amazing!" But she
What's
literally
this
like
anime called?
yeah, Sakura so no pet na kanojo.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, I found it.
and like the main girl, like everything about her is basically she's like an animal and she's like a pet.
Oh, bro, I've seen her so many
So
times.
the main
Like this
character,
character.
yeah, the main character has to take care of the main girl like she's a pet.
Yeah.
Weird.
And it's just like a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, it's so amazing! It's like a new type of romance." Blah blah, blah. I was like, "What the fuck is it? This is like bestiality or some shit."
This definitely kickstarted a whole character trope.
Yeah.
Like that's so common that there's a character that's like a cat. I don't know if it's the first one, but if that's the first one that you noticed, I honestly probably didn't even notice any characters like that except for
No.
the dude in Kuroko no Basket, the one that's like the jack of all trades. He always looks like a cat. They always draw him like a cat. I don't know why. But I
Oh,
can't really
okay.
What,
remember
Akashi?
a female character that acts like a cat all the time. But that's such a weird like thing that happened in anime.
Mm-hmm.
Jack of all are you talking about Akashi?
No. There's like the secondary character, or is that on Haikyuu? I can't even remember. No, it's on Kuroko no Basket. He's like the dude. He's like the literally fuck all like second character. Like he's literally like barely in any games. He plays like one game where he does everything
Oh,
mediocre.
no idea then. I don't
I'll
remember.
try and find him. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I think 2012 was a big hitter, right? They brought out Sword Art Online, Psychopaths, obviously, you know, Kuroko no Basket. So for 23, top picks, go.
23? What's 23, bro?
I mean 2030.
2023, bro. We're going ahead of time. We're jumping forward in
We're
time.
jumping ahead.
Yeah.
2013, you mean?
Jujutsu
2013.
Kaisen season 4. Let's go.
But yeah, 2013, easy.
Yeah. I think we all have the
we're
same
all
one.
thinking the exact same thing. for
Three
2013,
letters
honestly.
at the same time. Yeah.
AOT.
Yeah, AOT.
AOT,
Attack
man.
on
Attack
Titan.
on Titan.
Yeah.
But
Easy.
I'd be excited to hear about your secondary choice. That's like more what I'm interested in.
Yeah. Okay. Who wants to
I
go
don't have a
first?
secondary choice. Wait, do I have a secondary? No, I don't think I have a
Oh
secondary.
shit!
choice.
You know.
As a side note, I don't even think we
I
need
watch
to
a
go
lot of-
into what Attack on Titan's about. If you're listening to this
Yeah.
podcast, you've seen it. Like, there's no doubt. And if you haven't seen it,
Yeah.
I don't know what
just
to
know
say.
that it was like anime defining. It was like genre kind
Yeah.
of. It's
definitely
an epic that got pretty much a lot of people into anime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I just spoke to someone from work who watched Attack on Titan recently because she saw so much stuff about it online, but she didn't watch anime before, and she was
Yeah,
like, "Tell me more anime," because she knows that I like it, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Damn!" Like it literally opened a whole like
Whole new
path
world.
for her, a whole journey.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't have a secondary.
So I was gonna
What
say
about you?
in 2013, right? That's when I was kind of like starting university. So I had a lot of time for anime. So I watched kind of like a lot of shit. So some of the other random ones that I watched was Log Horizon, Kill la
Bro,
Kill.
fuck Log Horizon.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't really like it too much. There was Gargantia on the Verdurous planet. Yahari Ori no Shensen. So that's actually a love comedy. Okay, so it's not really my kind of anime, but I watched a love comedy anime back in 2013.
You watched a lot of weird stuff, didn't you?
Yeah.
Just like small titles.
Yeah, I actually watched like some random shit. Like I remember there was like
He was
this
lonely,
one called
bro. He was
Carnival.
watching that Zombie Harem one, and
I feel like I was just like experimenting to see what I liked. There was Carnival, which is like some yoi fucking trash anime. I thought it was going to be good, but I think this was the first time that I realized that when you look at like a graphic of an anime and it looks cool, it doesn't actually mean the story is going to be good.
Yeah.
So after that, I kind of just like, yeah, I'm just gonna like properly read the plot, make sure that it's
Yeah.
got good like manga
Wait,
support.
you watched a yaoi?
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I called it
basically
yaoi. When he said yue, I was like, is this something I haven't heard
Yeah.
of before?
yaoi, yeah, yui,
That's
yaoi.
weird, bro.
I think I spelled it wrong.
Well, I
That's
mean,
why.
you
That's
probably
why.
didn't even know that it was because
No,
you
no, no.
never
I
looked
got
into
vibes from
right?
it because like the main
Oh.
guy, he's like very timid, and all the other guys are experienced and like professionals, and like they got the
So
abilities, so they're
odd.
trying to take care of him. And I was just like, yeah, this is yeah, it's not really, it's a
Not my
sausage
thing,
fest.
bro.
Not your cup of tea.
Yeah,
Nope.
but
No way.
anyway, I watched a ton of shit in 2013. Not all of it was good, but my second runner up was Kayuke no Kanata.
What's the English? Or do you not know it?
But you gotta get the English.
Let me
I
find
don't
the
even know
English
what you're
for it.
talking about.
It's probably easier.
Well, just explain the story while you look it up.
So it's called Beyond the Boundary.
No, I haven't heard of it. It sounds
Nope.
sounds familiar,
Yeah.
but I haven't watched it.
So the generic kind of story for this, right, is a supernatural demons, monsters kind of theme. And this main guy, like he can't be killed, okay? And
Okay.
he has the ability to kind of like interact with these monsters, but he can't like damage them or make them go away. And they keep
Yeah.
killing him and stuff like that, right? And then he meets a girl, and she has the ability to kind of like there's a sword that she
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
that kind of kills everything, and they basically have to like transverse through different dimensions and kind of like go beyond the boundary to
Damn, sounds
fix
interesting.
these different worlds, and to fix the world that they're in. And it's obviously, I think it's done by Kyoto Animation, so
Okay,
the
okay.
animation is amazing.
It's funny that I didn't hear about it. Like, I was thinking
Same.
back to 2013 and what I watched, and I was like, I don't remember watching anything really. Like, if I really went through every anime on Mal, I could probably find more stuff. But I only really remember watching Attack on Titan and my
Yeah,
runner-up,
same.
The Devil is a Part-Timer, which I talked a little bit about in the comedy episode. But
Alright,
basically, like, it's just really funny. At the time, I don't even remember what I was doing in 2013. I think I was like in high school, so
For me, it was GCSE
not
time, so I didn't watch that
yeah,
much.
not the best times, not the worst times in your life. So
Yeah.
that comedy was a nice thing to watch after like a hard day of school, basically, and it was really fucking funny. And I remember I watched it twice in that year. Like I just finished it and then rewatched it.
Yeah.
Ramen, do you have any runners up, or was it just Attack on Titan for you from that year? Because like I really don't remember anything else taking.
No, yeah, for me there was nothing else because it was end of GCSEs, transitioning into A levels from
Yeah,
into So I nothing.
Oh yeah, I just
Springs to
remembered
mind for
in
me.
2013 as well. That's when Free came out. Do you remember Free?
Oh,
never
is that
watched
the
it.
freaking swimming
Swimming.
one?
Yeah. So
The
I was like,
swimming one.
I can't really swim, but this looks like a good anime for me to learn swimming. And all I get is
Lord.
fucking chests, abs, guys patting each other.
Bruh, if you're
And it's-
yo, you've watched a lot of yaoi that year, apparently.
Yeah, bro,
Just
you
two.
went into yaoi,
Just
bro.
two. But no, I was
Open your
like,
eyes.
I was misled by the trailers and the cover art. Okay?
Bro, the trailer for that anime it makes
It
it
looked like it was some
blatantly
swimming
Hella
obvious.
yaoi,
competition. So I was
bro.
like, yeah, there's gonna be like Kuroko in a basket, but swimming, right?
Please don't. Did you watch Yuri on Ice as well?
No, I didn't watch that shit.
Like, come on, bro.
No
What is
disrespect
this?
to anyone that likes them, but
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's
I
just
think
not for me.
I'm sure that they're really good because they get talked about a lot.
yeah, I mean, people love them.
I'm
People
sure they're
like
really
Yuri on
good for
Ice
the
and
genre,
Free,
it's just-
people still talk about
Yeah,
now.
The
man.
animation's good. Not gonna lie.
I'm pretty sure that they're really, really good for the genre that they're in.
Yeah.
I just don't watch
Yeah.
yaoi,
Okay.
so
Um,
not my thing, you know.
next year, 2014. So I think we're gonna probably have a split on this one. So again, I think in this year I started watching like.
I already know what
so many
Ramen's
anime.
choosing.
Yeah, I know what he's choosing. To be honest, should we just say what you're choosing?
Yeah,
Ramen?
Okay, we'll say it and you
Yeah.
can say yes or no. Haikyuu.
Okay,
Go
3, 2, 1. Haikyuu.
Haikyuu.
Yeah. Tokyo Ghoul doesn't like. Although Tokyo Ghoul was
Yo,
so
actually,
good,
I realized Tokyo
doesn't
Ghoul
hold.
came out, and that's like one of your favorites as well. So
Yeah.
I was like, what's he
Yeah.
gonna choose?
Nah, he's gonna choose Haikyuu.
It was hard at first, but Haikyuu, because Tokyo Ghoul finishes with this
Tokyo
cliffhanger.
Ghoul.
Yeah, tell us Tokyo Ghoul finishes with that cliffhanger,
Gal
right?
boys.
And
Yeah.
then the other two seasons, I was just like, I'll just read the manga, man. Like fuck watching Rute and
Yeah.
thing. I ended up watching it later on, like a couple years ago, and I was like, yeah, it's just fun watch, but I wouldn't put them in the top of anything. But Haikyuu, consistent.
Yeah,
for me.
Again, another one that
Just
brought so many
consistent.
people into anime, I think.
it's the same as Tokyo
So good.
Gal.
You and your gal, bro.
I said it on purpose.
I could see you tried really hard not to say gal just then. You were looking like so
You're like, Tokyo-
concentrated.
I was like,
gal.
what is it? Okay, go. Yeah. But to be honest, I feel like 2014 was like obviously there was good anime, but this is when it started. Like the trash anime started coming out, right? So by trash anime, in this year I watched a lot of trash anime. So it was
I
like
did not.
Akami got Kill, which I thought was trash. Yeah.
Oh, I
No,
liked it.
No Game No Kill. No, it's No Game No Life. Sorry.
I
Yeah.
liked it.
That was good, man.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Dropped on a
Sibling-
Bro,
cliffhanger,
you're
left
just,
a lot of
you're just
people.
Sibling
hating on
shit.
my dude because he's with his sister.
Yes. Okay. Second one, the third one, right? Sword Art Online season 2. Okay, absolutely
Yeah.
fucking horrendous.
Yeah, I didn't count that because
That's the one with
it's
the
a season
cousin
2.
shit, right?
yeah. It was a bit.
Yeah.
I don't count seasons, so
Yeah.
I didn't
And then
count them.
Magic High School, the irregular at the Magic High School.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even
absolute trash.
bother.
Terrible.
Black
So
Bullet,
shit.
that was also shit.
I didn't watch
I
that.
don't know what that is.
But like, I did watch like a few decent other ones. So I like apart from Haikyuu and Tokyo Ghoul, I basically Ghoul. Honestly, I'm just gonna call it.
I think me and you
TG.
are gonna. I don't know. I think the two that are left.
Yeah.
I know which two they are. But
Yeah,
I'm
I think so, I
interested
think
to see
so.
which one you're choosing as number one.
Okay, so I'll probably pick Sankyo no Terra.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good. But it was
Yeah.
third for me,
Fucking
unfortunately.
masterpiece, bro.
Yeah, that's my runner up for that year. Like honestly, it was such a hidden gem. Like when I found it,
Bro, I
nobody was really
cried at
talking
the
about
end.
it.
Yeah, Zanki no Terra, when that came out, I was like, this is genuinely a masterpiece of an anime. Like, it made me feel so much. And it's still one of my favorites, like, for sure. I loved it. And I thought the animation was incredible.
Exactly. I was like so invested in the main characters.
Yeah,
Yeah, bro.
When
it made
I
me
cried
have
at the end.
feelings.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I'd say it. It made me have feelings. That's what that anime
hurt my
did.
feelings
Yeah.
at the very end. I was like,
a
yo,
quick
this
kind
is deep.
of summary, like two lines worth for people who haven't watched this.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's not that
It's essentially like a bunch of orphans who are specially kind of enhanced in terms of intelligence. They get let out into the real world. They're trying to bring down the organization, and the way that they do it is through essentially terrorist activities, right? The terror in Zankyo no Terror, and they kind of go around trying to send these messages, and there's a detective as well trying to figure out what's going on, and then you slowly kind of realize what's going on. It's just amazing. I'd say go
Yeah.
and watch it.
Yeah, definitely go
Yeah.
and watch it. So that was kind of tied for me. So I loved that, but I don't know, that probably is my number one pick just because I still love it. But the other one that really impacted me for that year was Parasite.
Oh, okay.
Bro,
Oh, wait,
Parasite was
came out that
2014.
year?
Yeah, it was 2014.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, it did.
That was
Yeah.
good.
Did.
It's
Of course it
2014,
did.
dude. And that was such a good story. Like, that was like a really, really good story. And the thing for me is like Zanki no Terror was a personal favorite. I don't even
Yeah.
remember really. I don't know. I think I might have watched it with my brother, but Parasite was something that we sat down and we binged the whole thing together. And I just have
That's good.
a lot of good memories like watching it with him
Yeah.
over that year. So for me, it kind of like it edges out the one that I liked more for myself, just because I had a lot of like brotherly times associated with that anime. Like just chilling out watching it, and the story is really, really good, and people still
Yeah.
always talk about Parasite now as well.
Yeah. So I actually read the manga before the anime came out.
Yeah.
So I already knew how gruesome it was, how
Yeah,
amazing
yeah,
it was.
yeah.
So I knew the anime was going to be sick. It's kind of like one of those like standard anime that that's going to be sick, right?
Yeah.
But in 2014, like apart from all those big dogs that we mentioned,
Noragami.
Noragami, I haven't watched, but I want to
Noragami
watch
was
it.
It's a good
solid.
one.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
kind of like another hidden gem. But
Yeah.
it started getting popular when season 2 started getting announced and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch I'm going to butcher this, okay? But Gokuku Ko no Brynhilda.
No.
Nope.
Okay,
That sounds
so-
German, dude.
Yeah. So
it
it
does
does have
sound
some
hella
German
German.
themes into it, but it's all about aliens.
Oh,
Hilda.
I was right.
Yeah.
Hilda.
It has some alien themes to it. So it's like
Okay.
a school kid, and then there's obviously a school girl, and she's weird as fuck because you're trying to figure out is she an alien or not. And then
Oh.
he's part of like a society that are trying to like find aliens, and it was just like really kind of creepy but fun at the same time.
Yeah.
And the other one that kind of stood out stood out for me for that year. My final one for 2014 was Out Noah Zero.
Oh yeah, I have like a family member who loves that anime, but like I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
It's because it's mecha, isn't it? It's like one of the ones that has
Yeah, it's
the
got like
robots and shit.
massive mechs fighting,
Yeah,
but I feel like the story for Out Noah Zero goes like beyond the mecha part.
yeah,
Like it's very an emotional story. Like the world's turned upside down. There's like two massive like factions or a couple factions fighting over things,
yeah,
and then you're following like a school kind of some school students and how they're traversing this kind of
Yeah.
really crazy kind of society and what it's become. And then the main guy obviously jumps into a mecha and he fights. So
yeah,
like sometimes I have like a soft spot for a mecha anime because I feel like
yeah.
they're just so classic and so cool and so amazing. And obviously some of them are complete shit, but I feel like Out No Zero it's solid.
I don't know,
Mm.
man. Like no mecha after Gurren Lagann, except for Code Geass could ever. Like I just could not get into them. Those were the only two that I could ever watch that had robots in them.
Fair enough. Like I think like watching mecha is personal preference to people. Some
Yeah,
people
I've
absolutely
never
hate it. Some
watched.
people like it.
yeah. I
I feel
just
like it
couldn't get
just
into it.
adds. I feel like it just adds something to an anime. But yeah,
Yeah, funny thing is, like, I don't know, thinking, like, when I was watching all of these, I thought before I realized what years stuff came out, because obviously we're kind of doing
Yeah.
things not necessarily when we watched them, but the year they came out.
Yeah.
I realized there were so many that I love that came out before 2010. Like, like, there are some that I love now that came out after 2010, but I feel like most of my, like, top were all before 2010. Like I even just mentioned two, like Code Geass and Gurren Lagann were like 2008, I think, or like Gurren Lagann was before that, I believe. But like I feel like I don't know, we can talk about this later on as we go through the years, but I feel like some years after 2010 there was just like some absolute shitters. Like you
There's
mentioned like a shit ton for 2014. And
yeah.
like for 2013, the only thing I really remember are the two that I mentioned. Like I don't remember anything else. But I feel like every year before 2010 that I looked at, there were absolute fucking bangers every year.
So
Yeah.
I think it links to 2015 because 2015 for me was the weakest year.
Nah, man. 2015
Nah,
was like
2015
one of
I've
my
watched
top
the
3 anime of
most.
all time. I don't know if you watched it, but it was a good year for me.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
2015 definitely had. That's when I definitely started watching the most because graduated. I finished A
Yeah.
levels, and I started uni, but then I like deferred to
Yeah.
start working,
Yeah.
just earn money and not go to university straight away because I
Man was
couldn't decide.
almost a NEET. He was halfway between and then he went back to university and stopped working, so he got
Yeah.
the other half of being a NEET.
Yeah, so like 2015 is when I started watching a lot more.
Which ones
Yeah.
did you watch which
Which one?
were like from 2015?
Oh, I watched quite a lot actually. Like Assassination High School, I watched. Shokugeki no Soma
Yeah,
came out
Shokugeki
as
no Soma
well.
came out that year. One Punch
Yeah,
Man came out that year.
One Punch Man came out that way. Yeah, exactly. I watched this like kind of, yeah, no, ecchi harem-ish shonen called Rakudai Kishi no Cavalry. It has like a good like swordsman magic
It's a mouthful,
school.
bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, he said it quite well as well.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a personal taste kind of one. It was fun to watch anime, and
Yeah.
also Dragon Ball Super I watched as
Yeah,
well
Dragon Ball
then,
Super came out that year, but I couldn't get into
which was really
Superman.
fun.
Like, it took like, what is it? It's like 40 episodes before it gets to the tournament arc, and the 40 are
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of basically just fillers. Like, nothing happens
Yeah, it
in
Oh
those
was.
damn.
40 episodes.
It wasn't something I watched like continuously. It was like
Yeah,
every
jump in and
break I
out. Yeah,
watched. Yeah, yeah, I
yeah, I
dumped in and
get
out.
you.
But for sure, One Punch Man definitely was
And One
my
Punch Man
favorite.
was another one that was like another
So
bring
big.
everyone in. Like
Yeah.
I told you guys in previous episodes, like my friend's dad watched it, and he's like a 50-year-old Palestinian man. Or
Yeah, my
60, I
uncles
don't know
watched
what
it.
he is. You know what
My
I mean?
uncles
Yeah.
watched One Punch
Yeah.
Man.
Like people were watching it that didn't know what anime was. They just thought it was like an adult
Bro,
cartoon, like a
I was
South Park or
working
something.
that year. I was working full time in Primark, right? Because
Yeah.
I was like, let's just earn as much money and go traveling for a bit.
Yeah.
And everyone that I talked to watched One Punch Man, and it was
Yeah.
just a varying age of
Yeah.
people, and people you don't even think like you look once and you wouldn't think twice to be like, oh, they watch anime, right?
Yeah.
Like those kind of like people watched it as well, and it's
Yeah.
just like crazy. Everyone talked about it.
Yeah, like
You know?
for me, the reason why I said it was the weakest year, like even though there was some really like great cult classics like One Punch Man,
Yeah.
in terms of like comparing it to the other years, I feel like it just didn't have as many. I did watch like Kekai Sensen, which I know
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Russ is probably your favorite.
Blood Blockade
yeah.
Battlefront, bro.
Like
That
it was
is
pretty
like
cool. It was really
fucking
cool,
love it.
right?
If you say anything bad about it, I'll fucking kill you. I know
Oh
what you
no,
know.
no. I thought it was cool. Yeah, like honestly, it was solid. Like there wasn't really anything too bad about it. It was watchable. Everything was episodic in it. The other
Everything you
ones-
just said does not sound good at all. Everything you said makes it sound like a shit anime. Bro,
No,
okay, I
go
love this anime has such a unique storyline, to be honest. Like there's elements that are in other animes, but the way they play it out and the like powers of some of the characters and the main character I connected with so much. The main character is such a sick character. Like first of all, this was like kind of the year I re got into photography because it was the year I finished high school and I went to start university where like I wasn't thinking about what other people cared about. I was thinking about what I cared about, and so I started doing photography again. And he's a photographer or a journalist. He's like the world is basically what is it? Is it San Francisco? I can't remember the city, but basically a city in the US becomes like a bridge between the demon world and the human world. So it's just like
Ooh.
a city of nothing, and there's like a huge mist cloud around it. And if you there's like one way into the city, but I don't remember if you can come out once you've gone in. And Leonardo Watch is the main character. Like already the name is fucking sick. Just the story is great, and I like in general a lot of my favorites are episodic. If you really think about it, like yes, there's kind of an overarching story in Samurai Champloo, but not really. Yes, there's kind of an overarching in Cowboy Bebop, but not really. This one is episodic. Like my pick for next year, after like 2016, one of my tops was episodic. Like I think I really like the episodic ones. And so I get why you might not like it, but I just think that one was such a banger, and like so slept on. I really don't hear people talking about it ever.
Yeah, it's definitely underrated. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it when I watched it. I think another one which was quite popular for that year was Owari no Seraph. So it's kind of like the vampires
what
take
that
over the
Yeah,
world.
Seraph of the End, another one that's like borderline yaoi for you.
Yeah. So
I'm seeing a trend, Tyler.
to be honest, right? Well, like the way they explained the plot, the fight scenes, and all of this was like it was pretty solid. But then they kept like sprinkling a bit of yaoi in it with like the main two characters because like they weren't always in the same area. Like one was in a different area, and they were always like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna kill him. Actually, no, I'm gonna save him. Oh, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna save
I
him."
feel like
So I was like,
Tyler was going through this phase of
no. It
trying
was
to
just like
figure
I was
himself
watching so
out.
many anime that that's when I realized
I'm
like you
kidding,
need to
I'm
be
kidding,
careful because
kidding.
like, you're gonna end up watching shit if you just follow
I'm
like
joking, bro.
a quick blurb or a quick picture. But overall, I think it was okay. It was enjoyable, but the ending was shit. And then obviously there was Prison School.
Yeah, Prison School, man. Like what a year.
Didn't watch it.
So we're still talking about 2015, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
2015, yeah.
But I mean, a second ago you were saying that it was a shit year.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
bro, we're listing
compared
some
to other
peak.
years, right? I didn't think it had that much like value to me.
You know what? Like, I might just think this was an amazing year because this was the year I finished high school, and like that's always quite a big moment in your life.
Yeah.
So for me, a lot of the stuff that came out this year was like game changing. I mean, other than like Blood Blockade Battle. Oh yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but when I went to Japan, there was I was super happy, and I couldn't find any BBB merch like anywhere. Like I couldn't find anything. I was going in like Akiba. I couldn't really find much stuff for this anime.
Yeah.
And then randomly we were in I think it was Kyoto, and I told my girlfriend that like, oh, there's a mall over there, like let's just go in it because Japan's full of malls, and it was a really small one, and I was like, I want to go see what a small mall has in it because it was right opposite a huge department store mall, like massive. And so I was like, let's go in that one, and we went in, and on the top floor there was a dessert parlor that had BBB as the theme. So it was a Blood Blockade Battlefront themed dessert thing, and like you basically go in and all the desserts are themed after the anime. And it was so
Pretty cool.
weird because the anime, like I went to Japan last year. The anime came out like 4 years ago. Like I don't understand why they had done a collab with this dessert parlor, and the waiters were supposed to be dressed like
I think that's
the
just Japan.
characters.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like it just didn't make sense. But yeah, it was just I was so happy to see that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess like for some, 2015 was good. For others, it was kind of not so great.
Because what was
So-
happening in your life at the time? Like, was
Yeah.
this just like kind of a boring period for you, or what?
It was kind of like second year uni. So
Yeah, it's just like not like nothing.
it was a lot
nothing
of
major
work,
was happening. Yeah,
because the first year you don't really do too much. Second year you kind of like
Yeah.
crack on, do a lot. I was kind of like worried about what kind of career I want to go into.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting internships, and to be honest, I was kind of watching stuff from the previous years as well.
Mm.
Continuation.
A lot of
Yeah,
catching
like
up and
stuff
stuff.
I didn't
Yeah.
really watch from those years. But have you finished with 2015? Should we go to 2016?
Yeah. What's 2016 for you then, Tyler? Like, what
I
was
think
it like?
2016
There are
saved
three
anime
bangers.
for me. So 2016
This was the
was good
hardest
for
year
me.
for me to choose from personally. So I get why you're saying it saved it for you, because there were some really good ones in this year.
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
Let's let you go first.
Yeah, you
saved
go
your
first.
saved your year, bro.
Yeah, honestly, it saved it. Okay, so I'm gonna list off some which I think like the big ones. Okay,
Yeah.
My Hero Academia.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
solid.
I'm surprised that came into your list, but okay.
Yeah.
ReZero.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I didn't watch
ReZero.
it in that year, so I can't talk about it. But yeah, fucking incredible.
Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
the top. That was the
And
top one.
the big boy here, Erased.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
haven't watched it.
But there's one that you've missed that I'm surprised you missed. There's
Mob
actually
Psycho.
two
Yeah,
that
I'm
you.
surprised
Mob
you missed
Psycho.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one.
Mob Psycho. I'm surprised that you
Uh,
didn't talk about that.
Konosuba.
No, I'm not talking about Konosuba.
Okay, so I've kind of listed the main ones for me.
Psyche K, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That
It
was
is
the year of
Psyche
Psyche K. Oh yeah, but have you watched it, or did you only watch it when I showed it to you?
I only started watching it this year.
Okay, fair. Ramen, what's your choice? Because I'm gonna go
My Hero.
dive deep. Oh yeah, my
Oh,
hero
yeah,
for
yeah.
you.
I
My
think
Hero's-
we kind of
Boku no
sussed
Hero
that
is my
one.
one.
I honestly didn't.
Boku
I
no
didn't
Hero
know
is
because
my
have you watched Mob Psycho?
No, I started it. I did start it.
Yeah, watch it.
Bro,
dude.
I could-
I
It's
didn't
so
like
good.
finish the whole thing.
I could not
It's
choose
good. No,
My
it's
Hero over that.
I would say Mob Psycho's the second for me
Mob Psycho is such a
because it's
bro.
so
Just the opening, like I
yes.
probably have not seen an opening like that ever. That was such a good opening. The
Mhm.
animation is crazy.
Oh yeah, and the fight scene as well. I remember like the last fight
Yeah.
scene in that
all
season.
the fight scenes, bro. Every all the animation in that anime fucking slaps. The story slaps. Dimple
Yeah.
is the best side character probably of all time.
Yeah, and like the reason this year kind of saved me is because like I graduated from uni, so
Yeah.
I was pretty much like carefree life, kind of going into work. I started
Yeah.
traveling a lot more as well. So I went to like
Yeah.
Hong Kong, Dubai, like like a lot of different places.
Mr.
So-
Worldwide.
Yeah, so
going everywhere,
like
bro.
this year saved anime for me. Like it had so
Yeah.
many good ones. ReZero, Kabaneri, Erased. Like yeah, even Arjun. Like I kind of liked it. Even the animation was shit. I still
Just
liked
go
it.
read the manga. Don't talk to me about
Yeah.
the anime. Just go read the manga.
Please don't talk
Okay.
about the anime.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Next year, 2017.
Wait, I just want
have
to say one
mixed
thing about
feelings.
Psyche K.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I was saying this is the hardest year for me to choose. I think Erased has to edge it for me.
Oh,
just
yes.
Because of like how much I talk about Erased all the time and like the amount of times I rewatched it.
Yeah,
But Mob Psycho and Psyche K on my like listing, I literally put all of them and I said I can't choose. But like
Right,
obviously
right, right.
after sleeping on it for a few nights, I realized that it probably has to be Erased. But
Yeah,
Mob
I
Psycho,
assumed it would probably be erased for you.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But
Yeah.
like Psyche K just affected me so much, like in terms of learning weird things about Japan that I never thought I'd know, like the coffee
Mm.
jelly thing. When I literally
right.
told my girlfriend's family when we went to Japan, I was like, you will have to excuse me, like I have to find this coffee jelly. Like I will literally ask you to go in every Kambini until I find the coffee jelly.
Yeah.
And we went in and there's a lot of fucking Kambinis in Tokyo, bro. Like
Yeah.
we went in every one until I found it.
Oh damn.
And it was sold out in a lot of them. Like there was just none. They had the sign because I was translating all the fucking desserts to try and find it. And
Yeah.
I eventually found it and I was like, holy shit. Like no other anime really made me want to do something so hard. Like I had to find the fucking coffee jelly. Like it was
Oh,
my
damn.
life mission when we were there. I had to find it. And then after I tried it,
Was it good?
I was like, this slaps so much. I want to
Bro.
try every type. And then I went
can
in every
relate.
Kambini after that looking for different types of coffee jelly. I think I tried like 6 or 7.
Oh my god. Okay, now I
I
want to
can
try
relate
it.
to that
Bro,
actually,
it's I
because
think
I
in
did
the
the
anime
same.
they describe it as
Yeah.
like a subtle sweetness, like sweet but bitter, like perfectly adapted for the adult taste. Like they go so into it and they use such big words to describe it. I was like, I'm gonna go try this shit. And it was
Yeah.
everything they said about it's true.
Yeah, no,
It's
I could definitely relate to that because I kind of did the same thing the first time I went to Korea. Like I was watching, like you'd watch like dramas and TV
yeah,
shows,
yeah.
right? And they would eat this like fish shaped ice cream,
Oh yeah.
but it was so hard to find the first time I went.
Really?
Second time as well, it was so difficult to find. It's like, oh yeah, it's in every convenience store, but they're so difficult to find. Every single one I'd go to, I'd be like, oh, do you guys have this thing? And they're like, check the ice cream box. It's not there.
What is it like
It's like,
sold out or what?
like yeah, sometimes it's just sold out. And I went during summers as well. Like every
Oh
time I
yeah.
went, it would be
Okay.
during summer. It's so different, but it's so tasty. It has like red bean inside it and vanilla ice cream,
Yeah.
and it's fish shaped bread. It's so
What do you
good.
think about red bean?
Like
Because like I don't know, I can get down with it occasionally. Like
I like it.
the what's it called? What are the fish donut things called in Japan? Are they called taiyaki or something?
I think so.
I think they're called taiyaki. Wait, let me just double check before
Well-
I give some misinformation. Yeah, they're called taiyaki. So I
Yeah.
had a couple taiyaki when I was there, and they have different fillings. And the red bean, like I tried the red bean one, and I was like, okay, I can probably eat one of these, and then I could probably not eat it for a week. Like red bean is
Ah.
very specific flavor. They had other types which were way better in my opinion. They had like a custard one.
Yeah,
They have
I think custard
Oh,
was
custard
peach
was
my
one.
really
favorite.
good.
Yeah.
But like with red bean, like I used to have the dorayaki, I think,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
pancake.
Yeah.
So I had the red bean pancake, like dorayaki, and to be honest, it's not that sweet. It's kind of a bit savory.
Yeah, it's a bit
So-
more
Yeah, it's
savory.
savory.
Yeah, so I think like normally if I eat something sweet, I eat it really quickly. But with the red bean dorayaki, I could like kind of take my time and appreciate the taste more. So I didn't really have a problem with it.
I think it's
So
the
yeah,
texture.
The fish ice cream one, it works because it's sweet and savory at the same time,
Oh yeah, I get
and
it.
cold as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just the red bean. There's the vanilla ice cream with it as well, and the bread. So it's like it all works really well. At first, like when I used to see the stuff on like TV shows and shit, I'd be like, what the hell are they eating, man? I was like so
Yeah,
curious.
like a fried fish.
Man's
Yeah,
got
and
a
it's like-
kidney bean in his ice cream.
And it's like you couldn't find it, and the fact that I couldn't find it the first time I went, but eventually I could. I was
It just
only able
makes
to
you
find
want it
one.
more, right?
I was like, yeah, I need to fucking find this.
And I need to get this shit. Like, it must be good if I can't find it, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I felt with the coffee jelly.
Okay.
So,
Apart from us going on adventures to find these like
Yeah.
mysterious hidden foods, let's crack on with 2017. So I'm interested to hear your experience with 2017.
2017 was a weird one,
2017, right? I traveled a lot, so A, because of that, I didn't watch a lot, and B, looking back and watching a couple episodes from a couple of these, Kakaguri probably, I would say, up there, but 2017 was weak, man.
Yes,
Yeah, it was weak.
So
yeah,
fucking weak.
it was really
It was
weak.
Probably
weak.
the weakest one for me.
I have a couple.
Yeah.
I have a couple. Like kakiguri is probably just gonna push it for me because it's actually something that took off. The other two that I
Yeah.
have here didn't really take off, so I didn't really mention them. And like, I really like the kakiguri story,
Yeah.
but I don't think you guys have heard of this. It's called Juni Tyson.
No.
If you like fighting animes, I mean, the premise is it's a battle royale. So this
Oh,
was
okay,
around
okay.
the time of like when the fuck did Fortnite come out? Was it like 2017 ish? I
Around that
think
time,
this was around the
2017.
time that everyone started playing battle royales, and
Yeah.
basically it was a battle royale anime, and it was really
Perfect.
cool. Like the fighting was really well animated. The backstories of the characters were cool. They're basically all the zodiac characters, or
Oh,
all
okay,
the
okay.
zodiac signs, or like Chinese New Year or whatever. I don't even fucking know what it was. It was like the rat for Year of the Rat. It's
Oh,
the
yeah,
Chinese zodiacs then,
Chinese
not like the
zodiac,
regular zodiacs. Like
yeah.
the so it was like the rat, the sheep, or the ram, rather the dog. Like they were all in the battle royale, and the way that they animated each character and gave them a backstory and gave them like a personality that related to their year was really, really good.
Sounds
And I
interesting.
recommend that you guys, if you like fighting anime, you go and watch it because it's a really good fighting anime. And the characters are interesting for sure. But I didn't think either of you would have watched this because it was very
no.
under the radar. Like, I think me and my brother were just on Mal trying to find some random shit to watch. And it was like, it just came out and we were like, fine, fuck it, let's give it a try. Battle Royale. We like fighting anime. And then we were like, holy shit, this is really good. Like, the fighting is really good. I mean, it's not like the story is going to blow you away, but again, just like for a fighting one, good choice. And another one that I watched alone was what's it called? Recovery of an MMO Junkie. I don't know if
Okay.
either of you. I thought Tala might have watched this one because it's a bit of a love one, and you seem to have a penchant for like randomly liking some of the love ones. But yeah, it was an interesting one, and basically, it's about the main character is a female, so that's what like interested me about it because when you think of like neat characters, they're usually men, and they usually like end up in an isekai. But this one was just about a woman who was a neat, and then it's like a love story about her and this guy that she meets in a Kambini. And
Okay.
it was like, I just
Sounds
heard
good.
that one had a bit of a buzz, and I was like, I'm interested to see how they take this story. And it was actually quite good. Like, I never really, there was one romantic, like, love manga that I read that I got absolutely roasted for, but I don't even remember the name anymore. I literally have no idea what it was. I read the whole thing and it was really, really, really fucking good. And I think it became a really popular anime, but for the life of me, I cannot remember any of the characters' names, the general story. Like, I just remember I read this, and this kind of gave me the same kind of feeling. Like, I wanted to watch all the episodes, but in a weird way, because I'm not heavy into the romance animes, but I actually really enjoyed it. But in general, like, the only thing that I wish I watched from the year, which I think would have taken it, was Made in Abyss, but I still haven't watched
Yeah,
it.
I haven't watched it either.
Yeah.
And I think if I watched that, that probably would have been my top.
Yeah, so I watched that. So like in 2017, it was pretty much a weak
It was pretty weak.
year. The only kind of big ones that I kind of remember watching was like Attack on Titan, second season.
Yeah, I mean, continuations
Yeah,
for sure,
like the
but for me, it's not.
continuations kind of
Continuations, yeah.
carried that year for me, like the
Yeah.
big ones. My Hero Academia,
Wouldn't count
those
it,
ones.
yeah.
But this was also the time where I kind of like got my first proper job. So
Yeah.
I was like kind of just cracking on with work, not really focusing too much time on anime. But I do remember watching Made in Abyss. So I think like Made in Abyss, it's good, but it's not on the level of, Attack on Titan and like a few of the other like big dogs that we've watched.
Yeah, but it
before.
has like kind of a cult following, Made in Abyss.
It has a cult following, but
Yeah.
I think the manga will probably be better because
Okay.
I finished watching the anime and I feel like it just got started. So I know a lot of
okay.
anime have this problem where you watch 12 episodes and then it
You
just
feel
cuts.
like you just got started, yeah.
Yeah. So like the good thing is they did carry it on in the next couple of years, but then you got to kind of like wait for that next season to come out for a whole year
Yeah.
or a year and a half. So I feel
Well,
like
I mean, you
the
want to talk
first
about
season-
waiting? Fucking Attack on Titan, bro. Wasn't it like
yeah, but
few years?
it's on another level though. Isn't it?
Re Zero was like 4 fucking years or something?
Okay.
Funny
should
story
we-
about 2017 though. That's when I got to know Tala.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think that's when we properly
became
met.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was like beginning of 2017.
No. Towards it would be towards the end because I met you after I came back from Korea with Steve. Because that's when Stevie started going to a lot more of the language exchange, and
Okay.
that's when Namgyu came as well.
Fair enough.
Actually,
Yeah,
to
it
be
would be
honest,
around
like,
that time.
to talk a little bit about the language exchange, because I feel like you guys think it's normal, but when I heard this, I was like, I can't believe this existed.
Oh yeah, there's actually a lot of language exchanges on this like meetup website
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
There's this
it
place-
used
this
to be
website
good.
called Meetup,
Like
yeah.
that's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
It used to be like a place where you go for like with true intentions, or like honest intentions to kind of like
to learn.
meet people with the same interests and hobbies. So it's kind of just like any other kind of meetup. Like let's say for example, I want to go meet up around like software engineering, right? Or I
Yeah.
want to go meet
Yeah.
up around gaming. This one was
Yeah.
just more specifically language focused. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to learn like Japanese or you wanted to learn Korean or whatever kind of language you want to
Yeah.
learn, there was even Spanish, French, like so many.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
literally go and it'd normally be hosted in a cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you'd go to the cafe, you could basically speak to people who are from UK or from
Yeah.
anywhere else who are kind of like in the same city as you.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
can make
yeah, yeah.
friends like people who like the same food, the same drama,
Yeah.
same TV shows, same culture. So it's kind of like making friends who have
Yeah.
the same hobbies as you. And
Yeah.
the main reason I went to this kind of stuff is because after uni, you don't really make that many friends, right? Like you either have your high school friends, secondary school friends, or your uni friends. But because I went to such an international uni, like a lot of my friends kind of just went to their countries again, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
at this time, I was kind of like, okay, I like these different things, so I'm gonna go to a meetup for it, and that's where I kind of met Ramen, and I met like 2-3 other of my really good friends. Like I'm still friends with
Yeah.
them now, and like I hang out with them, speak to them, call with them. So I feel like it is a good place to meet people. So yeah.
Funny thing is, for me, I made more friends when I finished uni than when I was in uni. That's something I noticed.
Oh.
Like, I made a lot of friends when I started work rather than when I was in university. Because I think I was too focused on. I was a pretty shit student before. Like in high school, I was very like because I didn't have a chance to study anything that I was invested in. Like in school, in because I was in an American system, you have like 8 subjects that you have to do every year, and so they force you to do subjects that you don't care about. But in the British system, you can choose
Yeah, yeah,
what you
yeah.
want to do. And so I didn't have that experience with school until I went to uni. And when I was in uni, I could actually study things that I cared about. So I was so interested for the first time in my life in studying and learning stuff that I think I kind of forsook like making friends. Is forsook a word? I'm gonna have to search that up before I sound stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, past tense is forsook, so I'm good. Yeah, so I kind of forsook making friends in university specifically because I already had all my friends in high school,
Yeah, yeah.
and like primary school that stayed with me through all these years. So and a lot of them, I had one that lived in London, but most of them lived internationally because I went to international schools. So for me, I was like, I'm just gonna call them anyway. Like, why do I need to make friends specifically in like this university? Like, I don't care about sitting with someone to eat lunch in Costa Coffee, like I was just like, whatever, I just go to uni, like go to the library, study, and then go home and I can see my friend and my girlfriend and call my friends. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
the first time I got like actually invested in making friends was when I finished uni and I didn't have that end goal of getting a good degree. Like when you start work, your goal is what, like probably to get a promotion or something, which I feel like is something that you don't need to spend so much time on. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, fair enough. Like true words have never been spoken like that. But yeah, if we move on to 2018, and I think we can probably run through 2018 quickly because like for me it wasn't really
it wasn't a
special.
banger of a year, yeah.
Yeah, like obviously you had the big dogs like My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, Tokyo Ghoul,
Well,
Haggle.
they're carry-ons. You
Yeah,
need to
Yeah,
talk
carry
about the
ons.
stuff that
and
came
like
out that
Focusing on
year,
new
right?
shit, tell us. Stop
yeah,
talking
Yeah,
about
man.
old shit.
You
no,
keep
that's in
going
like
back
for
to
me that's the ones that just
continuations.
carried it through the year.
Yeah.
But the ones that I did watch during that year, like you already know, like I don't like Goblin Slayer, like I don't
Yeah.
like the Devilman Crybaby, Sirius the Jaeger. I didn't really like it that much. That
Yeah.
also had like a lot of Yao vibes. There's also
Yeah.
Radiant
Skynet,
that
yeah,
came
we bro.
out. Not really anything special.
Radiant was kind of shit,
And
man.
Slime, the
Oh
reincarnated
yeah, the slime one, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, that year I was like, yeah, like anime is kind of going down again. I'm not sure
Yeah.
about you guys, but then 2019 came around and I was like, yes.
Yeah, 2019 was a banger of a year, but for 2018, like I think I know what ramen would pick.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna guess yours, Violet Evergarden.
yes, for sure,
Yeah, thought so.
100%.
Yeah.
That was a good one, man, from
Came
that
out that
year.
year. That's when I watched it with my cousins in America as well, in New York, and it was like the best thing
I
ever
would just
for
say
that year
it's
for sure.
lovely. That's how I would describe it. If I had one
Yeah,
word, I would just say lovely.
It's a lovely.
yeah. And I also traveled a lot that year as well. Like that was like peak travel
Yeah.
time for me as well. So it's
I
like
think a good one that came out
yeah.
that year that was quite popping, in terms of like not necessarily the craziest story ever, but with fanfare, like Bunny Girl Senpai. I don't know if you
Oh,
guys watched that. Oh,
like
I can't
I
remember the
saw the
full
picture
name.
and
Like
I
it's
was
like
like, this is just gonna be fan
I've heard
service
all that.
central.
I've heard of that.
it
I've heard
wasn't
of
it
that.
wasn't that much. I don't remember it being like 100% fan service. Just like in the first like 10 seconds of the thing, she's dressed up like a Playboy bunny, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
after that, it's about. I don't know if this is gonna spoil it, so maybe like jump forward 20 seconds, but It's basically about a girl who is disappearing from the world because no one notices her, and the main character is like bringing her back into the world by like noticing her.
Oh wow, I did not expect that.
Yeah, because I think the full name of the episode is Bunny Girl Senpai Notice Me or some shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
when I
yeah.
saw the name, I
Yeah.
literally only watched it because I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, how can
Yeah.
this exist? I started getting so triggered because the waifu stuff and like focusing on like just fan service and stuff like kind of pisses me off because there's so much more to anime. And so when
Yeah.
there's these animes that people only watch to like see
Fan
some
service.
ass or whatever, you know what I mean? Like they're just watching it because they think the main character's hot. It makes me mad because
Yeah.
it taints all the other animes. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna watch this just so that I can shit on it. And I was like, oh wow, they
It's actually
really
amazing.
it was a
I heard it's
clickbait
pretty
title.
good.
Like literally, it's the first clickbait title I've seen in anime, but it really does not have that much stuff to do with like the fact that she's a bunny
Yeah,
girl.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
heard
just
it's
the
good.
first 10 seconds pretty much, and then after that, they just used it to like draw attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, if we're talking about ones that kind of surprised us, another one for 2018 would probably be Darling in the Franxx.
Yeah,
So
bro, people love that shit.
yeah,
I
it was
still haven't
actually
watched it.
quite unique. Like I wasn't expecting like what I got, right? I'm not gonna really spoil it like too much, but it's got mechas in it. But like the way that they drive the mechas is like making
Yeah.
these kind of bonds and relationships that nobody
That's
can
a
drive
waifu.
with
Like
like the main girl.
whoever the pink haired girl is, like people
Oh
fucking
yeah,
love
yeah.
her.
I think she was probably waifu of the year, maybe.
Waifu of the fucking decade, if we're talking about one that I see the most, like it's
Yeah.
definitely her. I don't see anyone as much as I see her.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, okay, that can be the the title of the episode if you want, waifu of the decade.
we already spoke
And
about
we can
like
make our
different
own we
waifus.
can make our own clickbait title.
Yeah. So for 2019, how was that?
Oh wait, I didn't actually give you guys my top for 2018. It was
What
Megalobox.
was it? No, I don't know.
I don't think either of you ever watched it. It was very under the radar, but basically, the main character looks like Spike from Cowboy Bebop, so that's what got me interested. But it's a boxing anime, and it's really well done. So if you want and it's a quick watch. So if you want a quick watch, that was well done. I would recommend that one. But that one and the Bunny Girl one were like kind of tied, but the way I connected with the character Megalobox just edged it. But yeah, 2019 is going to be a long one, so we can just swiftly move on to that. So Tyler, what was yours for 2019?
So yeah, apart from like, the ones that are continuing over, One Punch Man, Mob Psycho, Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, obviously they kind of brought it in. Demon Slayer obviously came out, so that was a big pick for me in 2019. Just like a classic good story. It wasn't like too imaginative, but the way that it was written on the story and like the characters, it was just amazing for its time.
Bro, it was a fucking year this year. Like so many came out.
Yeah, 2019. And the other one was The Promised Neverland. So
I thought that was gonna be your top pick. Is that your top pick?
Yep, that's my top pick.
I knew it, man. I fucking knew it. I was gonna guess it.
Yeah, that's basically my top pick, along with Demon Slayer and Vinland Saga.
What, you're tying them?
So Promised Neverland is number 1, and tied for number 2 is Demon Slayer and Vinland Saga.
Okay.
Because they're both epics. Like Promised Neverland just stands out. Like the story there, I don't think anybody's written anything like it.
It's so cool.
The world is pretty insane, and the way that the characters are written and what they get up to. It's like,
for the next season.
Yeah, you can't really imagine what they're going to be doing.
I know.
And the manga as well. Like I've started reading the manga, so I think like once you watch an anime and you like it so much that you read the manga, it just shows you what an epic story it is, right? So for me that year, Promised Neverland, Demon Slayer, and Vinland Saga.
Ramen, I want to hear yours.
So I didn't watch much in 2019, honestly. Like, what was I doing? Now, second year, I was also still supervisor at Uniqlo. Just like 7 days a week, I was on work.
Yeah.
Because I was working 3 days. I had like 4 days of work and then 3 days of uni. So I was just like continuously just working.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually watch that much. I did get told to just go and watch Promised Neverland and Kimetsu no Yaiba, which is Demon Slayer, continuously. I recently started watching Demon Slayer, and I would say, because I haven't watched Promised Neverland yet, and I know that it's really good.
It's gonna blow your fucking socks
off. At the moment,
I
would say 2019 for me would be Kimetsu no Yaiba, because it's just, and it's also just so big. But I like the story. It has a really really nice story to it, and like the
Yeah, I
colors
think
and everything.
if
It's
you're
really
like
good.
an older brother, you can kind of
Yes.
connect with Tanjiro even more.
Yeah, exactly. Because I have a younger sister, so
Yeah.
and it was just like the
Oh
whole
wow, yeah.
like
Maybe you
yeah the
guys
whole
can do the cosplay.
the whole family gets
Ramen and
like
Sanjiro.
you know
Yeah, you're just gonna
me
have
as
to carry
Tanjiro
her in a fucking box on your back.
in a
It's gonna
in
be
a
a
box.
tiring cosplay.
She don't need to be in the box. She don't need to cosplay. I just carry the box, pretend that she's in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair
exactly.
play.
You know.
Oh
Yeah.
man. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
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 was
year
really good.
was one with a lot of stuff for me, and I agree with you. Promise Neverland, just from the uniqueness of the story, had to take it. But for me, like it was hard to choose because I know that you I don't know if you guys watched Doctor Stone or Fire Force. I don't think you watched either of them, but I
No.
just really loved those anime. So for
Yeah.
me, it was like Demon Slayer is already so fucking popular. Like I don't need to talk about it. Even though I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
liked it in 2019, it's gotten to the point now where it's so big that I'm almost like, do I even want to like it? Because I have this weird thing where when things get too popular, I stop liking them. And I don't want that to
Hmm.
happen with Demon Slayer,
Oh,
but it's
that's
kind of
that's the
happening.
hipster mentality inside you.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys know me, like I'm pretty fucking hipster, so like I just can't control it. Like I'm, it's not that I don't like Demon Slayer, but I just can't. I can't admit to myself that I like it as much as I used to
I'd
because
say I'd say
it
read the
blew up
manga.
too much.
Like you'll like the manga.
I would say for you, yeah, how the best way to fix it is don't talk about Demon Slayer to other people
It's
because
kind of
then you'll
hard,
start
man. Like we've already mentioned it
like
so many times
no,
on
as in
this.
like because I love it, like I really like it, but
Yeah,
I know how big it is, and I wouldn't talk to other anime people who would be like, oh yeah, you can't shit on Demon Slayer, it's just too
yeah,
good, blah blah. You know those
Yeah,
people.
it's got that
yeah,
cult
yeah,
Like
yeah,
following,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
if
It's
I
it's the
wouldn't talk about it
gatekeepers.
because
yeah,
it would really drain me talking about it. It's the same as like you know how BTS is like the biggest K-pop
yeah,
group
yeah, yeah,
out
yeah,
there right now. I followed BTS from the very beginning. So I love them, right?
yeah,
But I don't talk about it to people because of how condescending people are and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
how much shit people say. Like
yeah.
you can't talk to people about BTS or like stuff like that get too big with a kind of constructive criticism or like
Yeah.
you can't be like, oh yeah, like I didn't like that song or like I didn't like that arc and stuff, and
Bro, you
without
don't
people being like,
understand the
yeah, no, you
art.
can't hate it, you know.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
it's the whole idea of gatekeeping because there's these set of
yeah
people who they kind of deem that, oh, if you want to be this kind of fan, you have to
yeah.
like
You
this,
have
this,
to
and
yeah
do
this,
the
and you have to
the
think this
biggest
one's the
amount of
best.
bullshit.
And if you
yeah,
don't agree with that kind of view, then you're not really a fan, and they'll
yeah,
act condescendingly, be like, no, you don't know
yeah,
what you're talking about,
yeah.
this and that.
Yeah,
And
so I don't talk
one
about these
one
kinds
quick
of
thing I
things to
wanted to
people.
ask you guys, right? Have you guys ever experienced anime fatigue?
I'm on it right now.
Like, have you ever worn out? Fair enough.
Like after 2018, because like see how I stopped what like how it just got less, right? 2018, like when I started traveling, I started watching less and less.
Mm.
Because I didn't watch Demon Slayer in 2019. I don't think I watched any
But
new anime in 2019.
did you see like an increase in something else? Like, did you start reading more manga instead of watching anime, or did everything just
Reading
kind
a
of
lot more
stop?
manga, watching more movies, just being a lot more productive in my
Mm.
Yeah.
area
So it is
Uh,
of
specific to
what I'm
anime.
gonna do. Hmm?
So it
Yeah,
is
it's like
specific to anime. It's not like you decrease like all otaku content. It
yeah,
was
yeah,
just.
no. It's specific to just watching
Mm.
anime. I just preferred reading manga a lot more.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's the same for me. Like, there's periods where I have like a really big burnout of
yeah,
anime. And I think like obviously earlier in the decade when I had more time and I wasn't really working, just studying, that's when I used
Yeah,
to like bang like a lot of anime out. And like even when I was rounding up all the anime that I've kind of watched in the past decade or so. So 2011, 2012, 2013, 14, even like 15 to an extent, I still
mm.
managed to watch quite a lot. But once I like finished uni, started getting into work, like 2017, 2015, 2017, 2018, very 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 weak, and I don't think I watched as many, like only a handful, like even though they're
Yeah,
making so many more anime, like
yeah,
I wasn't watching as many, probably just because of
yeah.
time, and also because I feel
right,
like
right.
I've watched so many, I kind of know the generic types of anime.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
unless it's something like really new or unique, I don't really invest that time in it, and I feel like time's become more precious in a way.
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
what you
yeah.
mean. I feel like if I had to pick a year that ever happened to me, it probably would have been 2013 after Attack on Titan. Because like those were the only two animes I can remember watching in that year, and I don't think I even went back and watched old stuff, which is what I normally do. Like I don't necessarily watch all the new stuff that comes out every
Yeah.
year.
So do
I'm
you think
more
you'll
just like
ever like grow
focus
out
on
of anime?
old. To be honest, no. I thought by now I would have been grown out of it if I was going
Yeah.
to grow out of it, and I don't think I'm going to. And I think it will come to a point where maybe I am not necessarily watching new stuff, because obviously it gets to a point where like you can't really watch shonen anymore because it's
Yeah.
like too childish or the story is too similar to other shonens. But I think that
Yeah.
I'll always have an appreciation for it, and like I can probably go back and watch things. But if you really think about it, you could be 50 and watch something like The Great Pretender or
Yeah.
Samurai Champloo.
Even Demon
You know,
Slayer.
like there are some of these that are like timeless and ageless, and I feel like there's always going to be something every year that is like that.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
of course.
because I feel like it's not just, it's not a kiddie cartoon anime. It's more of the story. And some of these stories,
Yeah.
like you've said, are timeless, right? Like
Yeah,
it
like
doesn't
Promised
matter
Neverland.
your age. Because like,
Or even One Punch Man, dude. Like
yeah,
there can be silly things too that you can like when you're older, and I feel like
Yeah.
there's always going to be that, and I'm always going to watch those.
yeah, I
But
still
maybe not
remember
necessarily everything.
when I was getting into anime probably like 10 years ago, I said to myself, oh yeah, I'll just like watch as many anime as I can because, when I'm like mid-20s, I probably won't be watching any. But that's not true.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not true. But yeah, I think like to round off this episode, if you could pick a year or like your favorite anime year, what would it be?
Oh man, it's a tie between 2011 and 2015 for me. I have to be honest. Like just in general, the year itself for 2015 was amazing, and Blood Blockade Battlefront was one of my favorites ever. And normally my favorites are old shit, like old school animes, like 90s vibes. But that one was just so impactful for me. And 2011 is just like the beginning of the whole Hunter x Hunter journey, and Anohana. For me, that was like a big year in my life as well. I don't really. I just remember like a lot of shit happened, but I don't remember what necessarily. But I just remember that those anime that came out and Blue Exorcist as well were like a big escape for me
Yeah.
from my real life. So those 2 years, like I couldn't pick between them.
Yeah. How about you, Roman?
For me, it's 2012 to 2014. Like, it wouldn't be specifically one year because I
I'm
would say
surprised
the
you say
biggest
2012,
three.
to be honest. I'm surprised you're saying 2012. Like I thought it would have just been 2014 probably.
No, I saw that online, man.
That's true. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, it
Saw
came
that
true.
out
online, came
2012.
out 2012. Those would have to be like in the top for the decade of the ones that I've watched like more sincerely than afterwards. Because obviously afterwards I started getting fatigue. I was doing a lot more other stuff than just watching anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those were the 3 years where I invested a lot more in watching anime rather than doing much on GCSEs and A levels. Although I did fine in them, it's just I just preferred to like
Yeah.
watch
I
a
think
lot more.
I can agree, like to both your points. Like for me, it was more the escapism aspect. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
2012 was big, 2013 was big, 2014 was big. So I think those
Mhm.
3 years for me were like quite pivotal. If I was to pick a favorite year, it'd probably be 2012, right? But split with 2016.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
2016 was a hard year. Some
Yeah.
good shit came out.
And
Yeah.
and then you can find out what we're going to be talking about next week, not next year, for the 2020 picks, because 2020 was
Yeah.
pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Oh, it was
shit in
decent,
real
but
life, but pretty good for anime. But I think out of every year, the year with like the best stuff coming out, we all have to agree is 2019. Well, maybe not ramen necessarily, but I think
oh yeah,
just
2019.
the multitude of good shit that came out in 2019 just takes the cake.
Yeah, agreed. Like even those previous years, like 2012, 2013, 2014, even though that was kind of like the foundations of like
Yeah.
when I started watching so many, undoubtedly 2019 probably had the best.
Yeah, for sure.
Stories come out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you can tune in next week to figure out what we have to say for 2020 anime.
Yeah, definitely. We just want to say thanks again for listening. We've been Anime Real Talk. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, and pretty much any other platform that you listen to podcasts to, as well as YouTube. We upload them on YouTube as well. You can find us on our socials on Insta at Anime Real Talk Podcast or Twitter at Anime Real Talk. Or if you want to email us, it's animerealtalk@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next week again, same time on Wednesday. Peace.
See you next week.
Bye.